Explaining my lack of patience for certain matters takes more time than the matters themselves. Some of these matters are thicker than blood and more complex than a DNA strand. Yet whenever my brain goes towards the quantum, my mind dares to get enraged. That number, that percentage, is sin and greed wrapped in feathers and moccasins. To diminish your people's identity to that of a 1/8, 1/4, or 1/6 is but a crime to your flesh and blood. To accept such a thing created by a government that didn't care about you or how you look. Yet you care so much about how the right look. You preach about genocides and trails left in tears, yet ignore your own on an hourly basis. Screaming about spirits and land owed to you when you lost fair and square. You ran forward into muskets and cannon fire and screamed bloody murder. But then adopted the practice that truly puts our people at risk. The quantum. And adopted fast, it truly was. You want to talk about the real Indian problem? Then let's talk. You disgrace your ancestors and your spirits. You point at others and call them snow or coal, all while knowing they potentially contain the same blood that runs through your veins. You break it down to skin tone phenotype, not DNA, and place of origin. I'm an American with native blood. I never want to look like you. I don't want your spirits. I don't want your tribes or your headdresses. I want to be me. I don't want to dance by the fire and pray to damn moose and buffalo. I want to be native. I don't desire to be a Dakota, Cherokee, Shawnee, or Mohawk. Just myself. I've never had an elder in my ear preaching about the sins of the white man, nor did I have them telling me how pathetic those in chains were. Not all I've ever known is an old story, and what's in my blood. The story of a tribe that integrated so early that the rough translations we had don't even come close to their true name. We didn't get slaughtered. We didn't get sent down a trail of tears. We never were the Indian problem. No, we saw what the settlers had and wanted it too. The men and women found them attractive and they mingled. My tribe never needed to cry a damn river cause we were already on one. Unity, peace, love, and lust alike. I'm a descendant of colonists and tribals, and I'm proud of every good and bad moment. And let me say it again, I'm proud of the good and the bad. Because it allowed me and other true natives to existence of a lifetime. We aren't held back by old ideals, we aren't held back by elders, we aren't held back by the government that supposedly killed off the very people that I tie myself to, and more importantly we're not tied down to their religion, we're not tied down to their spirits, whether that be that of the tribals or the colonists. We don't need a group around a fire to be what we are. We don't need government regulation or blood quantum to be what we are. We are the proud mixed descendants, some of us having an ancestor not long ago, some of us haven't had one since the very earliest days of colonization in the form of full blood. We are white, black, tan, and everything in between. We are Native Americans, and we don't need a blood quantum or a tribe to be what we are, and we find the very concept disgusting. We don't need a tragedy to justify why we exist today or why we should exist today. We don't need government policy for your approval, and more importantly, we don't need a percentage for you to be one of us, not for us to be one of you. You need our approval, not the other way around. No, if you have the blood of the people who walked this land in you from generations before, and you still live on this land now as a descendant, that's all we need. You could be a 0.5% nobody, and we would still welcome you as a native, not as an outsider. But they would never do the same for us, not the government and not the tribes. You want to talk about what killed our people, you want to talk about what reduced us to such low numbers that you fall asleep believed to be true. It's your damn blood and the quantum you tied to it. It wasn't genocide, it wasn't smallpox and bad blankets, nor were they hand grenades and bullets. No, a lie is what killed my people. We are still the majority in America, but they are too stupid to realize it. Your people never left. They never got sent across the country. They were never put in chains, and they were never deported or killed off. We are still here. Are you just choosing to believe in a lie? There are millions of us, but they'll never recognize that in their numbers and their tallies. No, they will keep going by percentage, not reality. You hold on to lands and flags that do nothing but slowly kill your people day by day. You hold on to old ideas that are damn near 200 years old and that you never once lived nor experienced yourself. You pray for the return of grounds you personally never lived on. Leave it all in the past, like it deserves to be. You can honor it, you can remember it, but you can never be what you never were, and you are not your ancestors. Our people would be stronger without lands, without reservations, without tribes. We would be stronger without those old flags and symbols that no longer represent the majority of us, because the majority of us are not pure blood. A majority of us aren't even half-blood. No, we are mixed, either in the moment at our creation from our initial parents or from the reality of who our ancestors were. If you could just give up the quantum and see your people for your people, even though they no longer look like you would come to find we are the largest population in North America. We are the oldest living people. We are the most mixed, the most diverse, and the most proud. We are Native Americans, and we will never be sorry. Not to the United States or the tribes. We don't want an outdated culture. We want to be native. Those born on this land with the blood of its people and the hope of a nation. If you need approval to be people, then you're not a person, you're a martyr. And martyrs don't last, they die out and are skinned, every bone used with nothing wasted. A concept you should be more than familiar with. You fail to see that a dead nation is your chains, and the quantum is your slaver. In the past, one couldn't point out that the force was applied to the tribes. But in the modern era, one must question why they force it onto themselves. It's almost senile to think that in such an era, when rules are as vague and thin as ever, when we have witnessed as much change and diversity in recent years, watching the ups and downs, that they still believe it's something they need. And yet somehow, despite so much opposition, it's still not rage I feel towards them, it's still not anger, it's questioning, it's concern, It's wondering fear. Tell me, why do you still fear your nightmares? Or do you not recognize it as fear? Do you still view all this as defiance, as living? I know not. And fear no T, for I'm not even asking you to accept the mode.rn. I am not asking you to hang up anything else in exchange for peace. But what I am saying is you can still be you without needing to be a nation. As a people, I understand individuality is a common thing, something highly praised and spoken about on the bonfires at night. This is one of the few things we share in common. Did you ever stop and think maybe you could still keep your practices, maybe you could so keep your tradition that you could still keep your way address and keep your culture? After all, many in America have already done that. As a kid on the bus, I used to have to sit next to a lot of people who didn't look like me, who didn't act like me, nor did they have my culture, nor did we agree much. And yet we're all still here as adults, still existing a people to our people, and still as a people to the United States of America. Still American. And we stopped being afraid of the dark a long time ago. And trust me, I know these analogies are not accurate, but in the modern world they have evolved to be much more so. I must say I have never had a Wendigo or skinwalker to fear. Nope, only the quantum. But even that isn't a fear anymore, at least not to the rest of us. And not at all, because humanity doesn't need fear, so we reject it. That's the beautiful thing about being human, we get to choose. So now openly, I'll never reject you, but an awful lot of you sure as hell reject us. So when you hear this voice creak through on a broken monitor on an old TV screen through speakers that sound like they're dying, and you hear a robotic voice and not my own, just know you made that robotic voice, and ironically enough, sometimes, only just sometimes, that robotic voice sounds more human than half of humanity. I don't fear the future, I embrace it no matter what it is, and all I can ever see is excitement. I look at everything, and I truly mean everything, and I stare, and all there is so much to learn and experience from this human race, and yet isolation to some seems to be the best policy. Isolation is bullshit. Isolation is death. Isolation repeated throughout our history proves time and time again to be blatantly un-American, un-native. And then I must address the elephant in the room, those who come from nowhere else, those who don't have a drop of native blood running through and yet their families have lived on this land for generations. Fuck you for denying them their right to be native to the United States of America, both the government and its classifications and the tribes for the rigidness. Who are you to deny a family that knows nowhere else, to deny a kid who has never heard of a culture outside America's soil? In a country with an estimated over 500 cultures, who am I to say no? After all, I come from both sides, so welcome. All that I ask is you check in at the front door, that's simple. And yet every day I see two groups who started a shit show a few hundred years back still looking at each other like they're two halves of the equivalent of an Indian problem. They say our people were killed with dirty blankets and machine guns. I say we killed each other. And all in the name of the quantum. So I'll break right through the irony. For I seem to be the only one free in this equation, so I welcome others of my type to be free as well. We don't need them, we truly don't, we never have, they never gave us anything, neither one. So don't worry, at the end of the day they'll always be Native Americans. Some people will just hate what they look like though. And that's okay, because sometimes only just I hate how you look too. That's why I'm proud to have two names. I am proud to be both Bradley Eshelman and Johnny Vanjik. My tribe name will never sound like yours, it will never sound like something out of a history book. It has and always will sound American, because if you push me to the point that I must tell you my tribe, it won't be that of my ancestors, it will be of the United States of America.